welcome to Getting We're Going Healing, a place where we talk about mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being to help you learn to be your greatest, your most authentic self. I am your host, Tova, and I will be guiding you through today's tarot reading. So today, we're just going to do a channeled tarot reading to see what comes up for the collective, what might need to be heard, what might need to be said, help us be guided. So at this time, I'm going to call in the angels, ancestors, guides of anyone tuning in today. Help them get clear, guided messages for what they need to hear today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So where are we going to start today? Where would you like to start today, guides, source, spirit? Where would you, energy oracle? Okay, so we're going to start with the energy oracle. Please give clear, guided messages to those who are listening. What information do they need to know at this time? Thank you, thank you. I see some people might need to meditate. Let's see. Be patient. Something is coming and you need to be patient. Okay, be patient. Okay, what do they have to be patient about? What else do they need to know? What do they need to be patient about? Feeling like things aren't happening for you, but they are. The garden and the gates. So the garden and the gates talks about being stuck on the outside of the gate. Feeling like you are trapped on the outside, you're looking in, you see this lush, beautiful gardens, but you're on the outside of the gate. This came in reverse. So be patient because something that you've been waiting for, a door you have been waiting to open, is about to open for you. The door that you've been waiting to open is about to open for you. So, let's see what other information is coming. What else do they need to know? What are they being patient about? Your abundance is blossoming, but right now it's in the shade. The sun reversed, and you're worried about it with the anxiety card. So the sun hasn't come out. I heard in my head the sun will come out tomorrow from Annie. The sun has not come out yet for you. And because of that, you're waiting for your abundance to happen. And it's causing you to worry. It's causing you stress. There's also someone who is holding back their love and connection. Now, whether they might be holding that back from themselves, holding that back from someone externally, maybe just not giving their all, not putting their heart into something. There's something that someone's not putting their heart into. They walked away from a situation where they were being lied to, where there was deceit. I don't know, this could be a romantic relationship given that it's the heart. It also could be a different situation where it was something that you were giving your heart to, you were giving your love to, something that you were giving your love to that you had to walk away from because there were too many lies involved. And there was an imbalance. There was too much of one and the other. This is when we talk about giving and receiving. If we are giving more than we are receiving, or we are receiving more than we are giving, we are out of balance. The magician in the mirror could be a relationship. This could be a relationship for you, especially as it falls under the woman holding a heart. But it doesn't have to be. Again, it could be something you're giving your heart to. But it was out of balance. There was too much of one area and not enough of the other. And it left you feeling like you were limited. Left you feeling like you weren't getting your, what is the word I want to use? Your compensation with financial constraints. So you're feeling like you're not getting the financial compensation, or it doesn't even have to be financial, though this says financial. You weren't getting your compensation for how much you were putting in. You weren't getting, you felt like there wasn't enough. And it caused you to stop appreciating things. It made you feel like you were resentful, because we've got appreciation in the reverse position. The opposite of appreciating something is either not valuing it or being resentful of it. So whatever this was that you were putting your heart into, that you had to choose to walk away from because of the lies that were involved, whatever it is, you stopped appreciating it. You stopped valuing it. And you were called by Source to walk away from it. With the 7th chakra, your crown chakra connection to Source. Excuse me. Indecision on the bottom of the deck. It left you not sure what way to go. Because in this card, we have this person, there are 2 different ways they could go. And they're just not sure. Which way do I go? It's a fork in the road. Do I go left? Do I go right? Left you not sure which direction you were supposed to take. You're being asked to let go of planning right now with strategy in the reverse position. Let go of trying to create a plan. Let go of trying to push. We've talked about that before in previous episodes of the podcast. Pushing when you should be waiting. Trying to force and create and force a plan to move forward when the time isn't right. This is saying, let go of planning, the time isn't right. Let go of trying to plan and create a strategy. That's right now, you are meant to be opening the door to your personal healing and happiness, which I feel like in this statement, when we're being told that things are out of alignment, that you're supposed to trust in Source, connect to Source, let go and surrender, let go of trying to plan, it's going to open the door to your personal healing and happiness. I feel like that's saying when you let go and you surrender and stop trying to make it happen the way that you want it to happen, that's going to lead to you getting what you want. That's going to open the door to your personal healing and happiness. I just heard in my head, you can't always get what you want. But the whole statement, you can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. That's what I'm feeling coming in this. The door to personal healing and happiness. When you let go of planning, you don't always get what you want, but you might get what you need. I feel like when it's saying trust in Source with the crown chakra, the 7th chakra, trusting in Source and letting go of how you think it's supposed to come to you, letting go of planning and allowing the door to open to get what you need, the door to your personal healing and happiness, whatever it is. This is part of your plan. I think this is part of your lesson. Let go of hostilities, with hostilities in reverse. Let go of any ill will that you are feeling. Let go of any hostilities you are holding towards whoever it is, whatever it is that is in this situation for you, whatever it is that you put your heart and soul into, whatever it is that you walked away from because of the lies, whomever it is, you're being asked to let go of any anger or resentment or hostility you're holding towards that person. It's blocking your intuition with the 6th chakra in reverse. As long as you are holding on to your resentment and your hostilities, as long as you are holding on to your pain, as long as you are holding on to that story that caused the hostilities in the first place, as long as you are holding on to that, you cannot hear your intuition because it's going to color everything. That's your ego. That's your ego holding that story. And yes, I know that you were hurt, but as long as you hold on to that story, as long as you keep telling yourself the story, you're going to keep re-injuring yourself. You're going to keep yourself in that place of the lies. You're going to begin lying to yourself if you keep doing that, if you keep telling the story. So let go of the story so you can open your intuition. Anything else from this deck? Any other messages from this deck for those who are listening? Yeah, open your heart with the fourth chakra upright. Open your heart. Open your heart to love. Open your heart to loving yourself. Open your heart to loving whoever it is or whatever it is that you're holding hostilities to, that you're releasing. Find love. Find that love. Find that connection. It might be yourself that you're holding those hostilities to. I just heard that. So open your heart. The highest frequency is love. The highest way to connect is love. So connect through love. This is part of your journey. This is part of how you're going to move through life. This is what you're being called to on your hero's journey or heroine's journey. You are being called to release those old things so that you can move forward on your path and grow, and you will be lighted along the way. Trust that the universe will guide you and show you how to do these things. That's what's going to help you find connection with others with community upright. That's what's going to help you find your people and connection and find what is worthy of you in this life. What else does our fabulous collective need to know today? Okay. Falling on to angel guide messages. Guides of those who are listening. Please help us hear what they need to hear. What angel messages do they need to hear right now, please? What angel guidance messages do they need to hear right now, please? Thank you. Move your body. It's time to get up and move. Thank you, angels, for motivating me to move my body and energy. When you move your body, you move your energy. Now, this is both on an esoteric level and on a physical level. From a physical standpoint of the human body, when we don't move a limb, the blood does not circulate. So in order for, let's give an example of the legs. In order for the veins to pump blood through the legs properly, the legs have to have motion. This is why those people who cannot move their legs, anyone who is wheelchair bound or unable to walk, they will find a lot of fluid filling up in their legs. This is because the lymphatic system that helps to drain the fluid and the swelling depends on piggybacking from the circulatory system, your veins and whatnot going through your legs. So if your legs are not moving, if you are not physically moving your legs, the muscle contractions are what help push the blood through the veins going back up towards the heart to help cycle it out. So in order for us to cycle out old blood in our legs, we have to move them. The muscle contraction of the movement of the muscles helps to close the vein, push the vascular pressure up, and it goes up through the veins into the arteries and back cycles back through the heart. So from an energetic standpoint, that from a physiological standpoint, we have where it's important to move your body to get blood flow and circulation. From an energetic standpoint, it's not that much different. When we don't move the energy in our bodies, it becomes stagnant in certain spots, and we can have clots, let's say, like blood clots, but energy clots, blockages to the flow of our energy. That can happen when our chakra points are blocked, when we've been stuck too long in a emotional thing, when we've got a wound or something there, the scarring can block the flow of energy. So moving your body has the effect of allowing circulation to move through, but it also allows the energy to unblock. So if you've been sitting stagnant for a long time and you feel very lethargic and blah, it could be because you haven't moved your body in enough time. So that's things like go take a walk. That's things like do some yoga. Maybe you have a spin bike that you've been using as a clothes rack that could use a little bit of use. Maybe you just walk in your backyard. Maybe you go to a local park. There are many, many ways to move your body. Go to the gym, go for roller skates, grab a hula hoop. Lots of different ways you can move your body that can be fun and allow the energy to circulate as well. On the bottom of the deck, we have love and accept yourself. So, you're already getting messages. Move your body. Take care of your body. It's your physical vessel. It is your, my son called it your mech. It's your mech. It's your biological mech. that you are living in. You are the one inhabiting the mech, but it is your responsibility to maintain the biomech. And that requires moving it. That requires taking it outside of the same four walls, moving it outside, getting some fresh air, and knowing that that's part of loving yourself. You're also being asked to express your creativity. Thank you, angels, for helping me to express my inner creator. And with spiritual abundance, thank you, angels, for blessing me with infinite abundance. So both of these are reminding you, first of all, that you have a lot of spiritual abundance. Even if you don't always see it, even if you don't always understand it, you have a lot of spiritual abundance. To be able to connect spiritually is within you. And it does not get greater or lesser than by means of anyone outside of you. It is you who chooses to speak to higher source, higher power, the highest version of you, higher self, however you want to differentiate that. It is you who makes the decision to do the work. It is you who makes the decision to do the prayer. It is you who makes the decision to see things on the bright side. It is you who makes the decision to sit in your sorrow. It is you who makes the decision for all of those things. No one outside of you makes that final choice. They might influence you, but you are the final checkpoint. You are the final point. You decide what comes and goes. You decide what stays or leaves. You decide that. It is you, always you. So in understanding that you have spiritual abundance, you also understand that you can connect to source or not connect to source. You can choose to follow the guidelines, the breadcrumbs that source is leaving for you, or you could choose not to. The amount of abundance you have is up to you. It is your choosing. You can engage with it, or you can sit in a space of lack. We already saw the financial constraints card. We already saw the lack card. We already saw in our previous cards that this is part of your journey. Walking away from the lies, creating balance, opening the door to your healing, finding gratitude, right? You are already connected to source. You are already connected to your spirit guides. You are already connected. All you have to do is open and talk to them. They're there whether you believe in them or not. They're there whether you acknowledge them or not. It reminds me of that old movie, Heart and Soul, from, I want to say it was the either late 80s or early 90s. Robert Downey Jr., I want to say it might even have been Viola Davis in it. Great movie. And the gist of it is that there are these souls who follow around this little boy, played by Robert Downey Jr. as an adult. They follow him around and they watch his life. And when he's little, he can see them and talk to them, interact with them, even though no one else around him can. And it creates a lot of problems for him. So he chooses to stop hearing them. And after a while, he forgets how. But as an adult, he gets to a point where he begins to see and hear them again. Now, it doesn't mean that they went away. They were always there. He just stopped being able to see them and hear them. They were always part of him. Your spirit guides are the same thing. Your ancestors are the same thing. They're always there. They can always see you. They're not in this plane of existence, but they're always there. Whether you choose to talk to them, communicate with them, connect with them or not is up to you. When you choose to open to it, you will find there is a great amount of it available to you, but it is you who has to choose that. And then going along with that is express your creativity. So when you allow yourself to imagine, this gives me like Empress vibes. When you begin to imagine and allow yourself to imagine what it could be, you allow yourself to create. And you create the life that you want mentally first. You decide what it is that you actually want to experience, what you want to see, what you want to have. And then you basically give it to your guides and then get out of the way, start following, but you create it first in imagination. And when you create it in imagination, it creates it energetically because your imagination does create energetic impulses. We can see that in MRIs. What happens inside your mind does generate electricity. When you create it in your mind, you create it in an energetic way. And then when you trust in your spiritual abundance, you trust that that will come to pass as long as you don't get in your own way. Oftentimes we decide how we want it to look. And so we say, if it doesn't come in this package exactly how I expected it to look, then it's not what I asked for. But just like often when we get a gift that we don't necessarily think is the right gift until days, months, years later when we find that item and that it happens to be the perfect item we needed just in that moment, and we're very grateful that we had it. But in the moment when we got it, we weren't necessarily so grateful. It is a similar idea. These things that push us don't seem like they are gifts. These opportunities that come to us don't seem like they are gifts, but they are. They are opportunities for us to change, to grow, to see things from a different perspective. So you're being asked to imagine it first, create first, and then see what the universe brings it to you and let go of how it comes to you. Because the universe has a better way of bringing it to you. You might be choosing the hardest path, expecting it to look exactly this way. You might be picking the hardest path. The universe is like, no. I got an easier way. Yeah, I'll still give it to you, but it's not going to show up the way that you expect it to show up. Stop waiting at the door for a package to show up. There's your patience, the very first card we got, right? Be patient. As we said, as we got before, be patient. The garden and the gate is opening for you, but you must be patient and allow it to come in the way that the universe provides it to you. Not the way that you expect it to show up, but the way that the universe is willing to bring it to you. Okay? We're going to ask some questions using the Light Seers Tarot. We're going to move on to a different track. Okay, we'll pack up these cards just so we can finish this energy and pull this energy away. And we're going to start some new questions for the collective. Started on a different track. This one fell out. I don't believe in coincidences. The garden and the gate. So just reminding you, this came up upright this time. So just reminding you, the gate isn't actually there. There is no limit to what it is that you want. Only you have created the gate being closed out. Only you are on the other side. I see Justice wiggling around in here, balancing of the scales. I see 5 of Cups wiggling around in here, talking about your past, looking at what has already transpired. Again, I see 7 of Pentacles, patience. All right, let's see what comes out for our beautiful collective. What message do they need to hear right now, please? Thank you. 9 of Swords reversed and 5 of Pentacles reversed. Your sorrow is ending, as is your lack. So 5 of Pentacles is just like the financial constraints in our last reading. But this is in reverse. So 5 of Pentacles, first of all, talks about being in lack. So what we see is this girl sitting here, right? She's sitting here in rags. Her head is on her knees. She's in sorrow. She's upset. She's sad. She's in sorrow. But we also notice that there is a key in front of that locked door, which reminds us that we are always able to get ourselves out of lack. It takes a change in perspective. It takes the opportunity to look around. If she were to lift her head out of her knees and actually look around, she wouldn't be in despair. She wouldn't be in agony. She wouldn't be in suffering, because right there is the key for the way out, to unlock her and let her free. But she would have to let go of her lack in order. In my head, I wanted to say pity party. I don't know why. I don't know who that's for. But she needs to let go of that in order to find her way out. Now, came in reverse, which means you are doing that. You are finding the way out. You are letting go of whatever sadness and sorrow that you were holding on to find your way out. And we see that reflected in the 9 of Swords in reverse. 9 of Swords is a sorrow card. It is being sad. Swords are always how we think about things. So the 9 of Swords is like you are just gut wrenched, but it's happening in your head. You're telling yourself a story, and the story is breaking your own heart, right? You're telling yourself a story of pity. I mean, this two cards that came out being exactly the same. Look at the positioning of both people. They've both got their head in their hands. It's sorrow, it's defeat, it's agony, there's no way out. It's telling yourself there's no way out. It's so awful. There's no way out. But we got them in reverse, which means you are finding your way out. You are releasing your sorrow and your pain. You're releasing the story that you're telling yourself that keeps you stuck in your sorrow and pain. And you are finding the way out. You are finding the key. You're finding your way out of whatever darkness you were in. This one wants to come out. Yeah, Two of Swords, making a choice, right? Again, swords are how we think about things. Two of Swords is indecision. So there's a choice that you have to make. This isn't in reverse. This is upright. So the Two of Swords upright is that you're having a hard time making a choice. Mentally, you're being pulled in two different directions. Look at this card. One bird is pulling her hair in one way and the other bird's pulling her hair in the other way. She doesn't know which way to go, and she's got a blindfold on. She can't see. The indecision. She doesn't know which direction to turn because she can't see anything. She's so caught up in the thoughts that she's having. Okay. Yeah, that one wants to come out too. Page of Swords in reverse. A lot of swords. So there's a lot of mental stuff happening right now. A lot of thinking happening. Page of Swords in reverse. Page of Swords is ideas, new thought patterns. But it's in reverse. So being stuck in old thought patterns with the star wishing to get out. So the whole message so far is letting go of your sorrow, letting go of your position of lack. But you have to choose to do so. You have to choose to let go of the old thought patterns that are keeping you stuck. You're wishing to let go. But as I talked about in a recent podcast episode, you have to choose to let it go. You have to choose to let go of the story that you're telling yourself. You have to choose to let go of the old thought patterns. That's the indecision with the Two of Swords. If she took off her blindfold, she could see which direction to go. If you took off your blindfold that's stopping you from being able to see, you would be able to see that you're holding on to old thought patterns. You'd be able to get yourself unstuck. Wishing for it won't change anything. You're being impatient. Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Seven of Pentacles is being patient. It's in reverse. You're being impatient. You want to heal now. You want it to be done now. You just want to flip a switch and let it be over, but that's not how it works. You have to let go of the thought patterns first. If you flip a switch, if you start over, if you do it over, but you don't let go of the thinking patterns, you'll find yourself in the same thinking patterns you were already in. The situation outside of you doesn't change. We talk about this all the time. As within, so without. So if your external changes, but the internal does not, the external will continue to reflect the internal. If you're still holding on to old thought patterns, old storylines, then the external changing, the new start won't change anything because the old thought patterns are still happening. So Two of Swords, indecision, and it keeps you there. So instead, change the thought pattern. You can't get impatient for a new start if you don't make changes towards the new start. If you keep sitting in the past, it stays the past. Queen of Wands in the upright position. That's finding your passion, finding your energy, finding your spark and cultivating it. The Queen of Wands is holding the spark in her hand, right? And she's looking at it and she's holding her hand up in victory like, yes, I know my spark. I know who I am. I have confidence in who I am. So how do you move past and let go? I'm getting shivers as I say this. How do you move past and let go of the old thought patterns? By cultivating your sense of self, by cultivating your own sense of achievement, by being able to look at something and say, that is something I did. I achieved that. Putting your energy somewhere else, cultivating your sense of self. And equal give and take with the Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles is reciprocity. If you see the figure 8, the infinity, the hand above is giving equally to the hand below. It's equal exchange, equal energetic exchange, because pentacles are physical things happening in the physical world. They represent not energies necessarily, but physical things. So 6 of Pentacles, how do you move past this impatience, you find out who you are and you give as much as you take. So that means maybe you might need to be doing some more community work. Maybe you might be needing to give to others as well as receive from others. And it might also mean that maybe you're not doing a very good job of receiving. If someone pays you a compliment, do you accept the compliment or do you brush it off? That's a gift. That's somebody giving to you. They're giving you that gift of a compliment, of making, wanting to give their genuine feeling towards you. When you choose not to accept that, you're choosing not to be in a state of receiving. Instead of pushing off the compliment, do you allow it? Do you accept it? Do you thank them for the gift of their compliment? Ooh. Okay, that chunk came out together. And that cleared. Okay. All right. So as you've seen when I read like this before, when a chunk comes out, I feel like it all means to be said together. It's meant to be a statement. So we're going to read it as a statement. 2 of Cups in reverse. Things are out of emotional balance. 6 of Cups upright because someone is still holding on to the past. Page of Cups upright. Someone wants to believe in love, wants to believe that pigs can fly, wants to believe that the emotional things are there. 10 of Cups in reverse, but because the happy family hasn't happened, it hasn't been so happy, there have been some upsets, they don't believe that it's possible. 8 of Wands upright, but new energy is coming in to help work together. 4 of Swords in reverse. It's time with the new energy that's coming in. You have to stop hiding your heart away and keeping it to yourself. You have to open up if you want it to happen. This has to do with relationship that is out of balance with the Lovers in reverse. So let's clarify that again. Okay. We saw this in the first bit of the Magician in the Mirror, the Twin Flames card in reverse. Relationships are out of balance. Relationships are out of balance. We see it mimicking on both sides of this stack. 2 of Cups in reverse. Emotional relationships are out of balance. The Lovers in reverse. Emotional relationships are out of balance. And in the center between the two, I feel like is the why. 6 of Cups looking at the past. Okay, we've got, if you look at it, we've got this guy with his dog and he's looking at the past of when the dog was small and he was small, stuck in the past. Page of Cups. Want that new love, want that energy coming, exuding from the Page of Cups is young though. Pages are immature. They're childish. They're not the Knights. The Knights are more mature. They're coming from a young adult standpoint, and then the King is the top. This is a page. This is a new blossoming love, a new blossoming adventure. But because of the old pain, holding on to the past, because of the old pain where there was upset, there isn't the belief that this could happen because things are out of balance. But there's new energy coming your way with the 8 of Wands. 8 of Wands is help. 8 of Wands is people working together towards a common goal. There's new energy, but 4 of Swords is protecting your heart. It's mentally cocooning yourself, right? Because swords are thoughts. It's mentally cocooning yourself and keeping your heart protected for fear of pain. But here's the thing. If we don't allow ourselves to feel pain, we don't allow ourselves to feel the other emotions either. When we block it off, when we stop ourselves from feeling, we stop ourselves from feeling all of it. If we're afraid of our hearts being broken, then what's the point? If you're protecting it, look at 4 of Swords. She's hiding. She's holding it there. She's keeping it in a little nest where no one can find it. But if you do that, If you mentally do that, swords are mental. If you mentally hold your heart away so no one can find it, love can't find it either. No one can break it, but no one can love it either, right? So we've got it sandwiched between Two of Cups in reverse and the Lovers in reverse. So this is relationships. I mean, cups are love. Cups are our emotions. And there's a lot of cups in here. 6 of Cups, Page of Cups, 10 of Cups, 2 of Cups. This statement's a lot about feelings. Okay, on the bottom of the deck, Knight of Swords. Energy is, the mind is racing. It's causing ego thoughts. If you are not familiar with ego thoughts and ego stories, check out, I want to say season 2 of my podcast. I did an episode on ego dramas, ego stories, and what that is and what happens when our mind starts telling us these stories. Because in the Osho Zen deck, this same card shows someone's head with mouths all over it, letting the mind, letting the ego flappity, flappity, flap, and not going from the heart. How many cups did we have in that last segment? That's all cups. That's all heart. That's all feelings, right? If we let our thoughts dominate and act from only thinking and not from love, not from our cups, not from our heart, when we do that, we make bad choices because we don't have the whole picture. And when we're talking about the ego, Knights are not as impulsive as the Pages, but the Knights can be pretty intense. And look at this guy, he's running quickly towards a motorcycle. He's got a crossbow on his back. He's about to go take care of some stuff. But the problem with the ego and letting your ego push you into motion and push you into movement is that it can also come from our pain points and our fear of our heart getting broken, 4 of Swords in reverse. From our fear of our heart getting broken. So we react quickly and we don't think it out from our hearts. We tell ourselves these stories and act from these stories. So you're being cautioned, watch for that. Watch for that. Watch for telling yourself these stories. And I mean, yes, there's a lot of thoughts and stories being told here. 7 of Swords in the upright position. 7 of Swords is lies and deceit. In the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it's shown as somebody who's sneaking away from camp with swords. They snuck into the war camp and they're sneaking out with swords to take away some of the threat of the enemy. It's being sneaky, deceitful, lies, dishonesty. It doesn't have to be malicious deceit, right? Deceit doesn't have to be from the intention of causing harm, but it can be in the intention of just not wanting to see the truth, telling ourselves lies, right? Telling ourselves stories, again, ego stories, ego dramas, telling ourselves stories that are just beautiful lies that keep us stuck in the mental patterns that keep us from moving forward and healing through what we need to heal, keep us stuck in our past. Remember, 6 of Cups, keep us stuck in our dissatisfaction, right? Letting go of those stories is the answer. Releasing the old stories that are no longer. At the bottom of the deck, I didn't mention it, but bottom of the deck is 8 of Cups in reverse. 8 of Cups is walking away from things that no longer serve us emotionally. There's Lovers on the bottom of this deck in reverse. Again, I haven't even shuffled. I just grabbed this deck. Lovers in reverse on the bottom of this deck too. Imbalance in your relationships. Imbalance and disharmony in the relationships. Okay. What do we do about it? Okay, for the collective, those who are experiencing this caught up in the past, this disharmony, this lack of connection. 7 of Swords rolling around in there again in this deck. Okay, what's the advice? How do we move forward? How do we get out of this? 8 of Pentacles, ordinariness. That is finding calm in your day-to-day life as it is. Ordinary, this talks about, the Eight of Pentacles normally talks about having enough money to live an ordinary life, to not have to stress and worry about what's coming, to not have to stress and worry about going to work and working your butt off in order to have money. It's talking about getting rid of the mentality, the lack mentality that we had before of not having enough and having to work really, really, really hard. Eight of Pentacles is putting in the hard work. So when we have it in this, the advice on what do we do to create balance, put in the work, do the work. Do the work to find yourself in a state of being in a blissful calm where day to day does feel like walking through. I just got a wave of dizziness for a second there. That was a push, something that resonates heavily for some reason. Having the resources to live an ordinary life where you are not stressed and overwhelmed and panicked and having to work really overwork. Eight of Pentacles, though, is putting in the work. And if you want to have the peace and calm, there is inner work to be done. Yeah. The past lives card. This is karma, releasing old karma. This is repeating patterns of the past, whether it's this life or previous lives. This is also karmic patterns. So this might be patterns of behavior through your family line, maybe ways that spouses have treated each other or expectations of what a spouse is supposed to be or look like. The only reason I say that is because we have the Lovers came up twice. We have the Two of Cups. This all leads to a relationship. So maybe there are karmic patterns about who should embody what role and what that role should look like. Maybe there are karmic patterns in relation to how you give or overgive or over-receive. Maybe there are karmic patterns about who does what jobs within the home. Maybe there are karmic patterns about what a relationship is supposed to look like based on your society, based on your culture, based on your parents and what their relationship looked like. But this is letting go of those patterns. So when I ask the question, how do we move through this? It's let go of those karmic patterns. It's begin to do the work to let go of the karmic patterns, to release those things that aren't serving you. This is also the moon in the original deck. And the moon is talking about subconscious, the things in your subconscious that are coming to light, things that need to be seen in the light of day, but are kind of murky under the light of the full moon. So you are releasing old karmic patterns. With the Magician, I love to see that. The Magician is talking about you create your destiny. You create the life you want to live. I'm getting chills again. You create through yourself what life you want to live. So how do we move past this pattern? We do the work. We do the work to let go of the karmic patterns that are keeping us stuck. And we realize that we are the creators of our own life. We get to decide this will bring you success with the Six of Wands. This is your success. This is how you're going to do it. You have to realize that you are the creator of your own life. You create the life you want to live. You can choose to stay in the karmic patterns and get more of what you've gotten and get more of the pain that you've had. You can choose to stay stuck in the past, in the old thought patterns that were part of the past, or you can choose to let those go. You can choose to not be part of those patterns anymore and choose to create the life you actually want. Act in accordance with the life you truly want. Start making steps towards that. So let's say we've got, again, let's go back to the relationship because that came in twice. So if this is a relationship, this could even be a relationship with yourself, because sometimes the Lovers is multiple aspects of your own self. So whatever it is, whatever relationship is out of balance, you choose whether to stay there. So let's say your partner says something to you that's a little snarky. You choose whether or not to let that hurt you or let it go. You choose whether or not you reply with a snarky remark or whether you let it go or you reply with an understanding remark. You choose whether or not you reply with a snarky comeback or whether or not you say, oh, that sounded kind of harsh. Are you okay? Is something up? If you want a relationship that is more connected and loving, you must choose to act in accordance with that. You cannot keep doing the same patterns that you were doing before and expect something to change. You are going to have to take the steps to change and to surrender and go with the flow. Ace of Cups on the bottom of the deck. Going with the river, stop pushing so hard against the current and allow the natural flow to happen. Allow things to flow without needing to push it. 9 of Cups with laziness. Understanding that, yes, you might deserve a break. You might have put in a lot of work already. You might have overcome a lot of challenges that you already had before, but the 9 is not the 10. The 9 is almost there. Don't get complacent and don't get caught up in being lazy. There's still more work to do. So keep working on it. Beyond illusion and the miser. So being able to see past the illusion of their not giving. The miser is 4 of Pentacles. The miser is keeping things to yourself, keeping material things to yourself. But it came out with beyond illusion. So I feel like that's saying you need to see beyond the illusion of the fact that, not even the fact, the feeling. If they look like they're holding to themselves, okay, look at this. This is the miser, right? So she's holding all of her jewels to herself. She's not sharing. She's worried that someone's going to take them, right? She's not giving. She's taking, not giving. So I feel like this is the illusion you're holding of your partner, of this relationship, that it's taking from you and not giving. And it might feel that way. It might feel like they're not giving. But it is an illusion with beyond illusion. It's an illusion. It's not fact. It's not real. It's an ego story. It keeps you stuck in that old pattern and keeps you from having change happen with the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. It prevents change from happening, right? So if you want things to change, you have to let go of the illusion. You have to let go of the story that you're telling yourself that keeps you trapped. There it is again. There's the Page of Swords now instead of the Knight with fighting. Being easy to provoke, easy to trigger. This one, there's detonators all over this person. And in the smoke and the clouds, you see them seeing fighting. They're projecting an image of fighting. They're seeing in their mind that everything is a fight. And so everything that is said is taken as shots fired, right? As long as you are stuck in this shots fired mode, you're not going to be able to change to what you want. Yeah. These came down. Yes. You're going to be lonely with the 3 of Cups celebration in reverse. You're going to be lonely. But to get out of that, change your perspective with the Hanged Man in the upright position. Change how you see things, a new vision. Let go of the story you're telling yourself that has to do with fighting, that they're trying to fight you, that they're your enemy. Let go of that story and let go of the story of feeling lonely and out of place, because that is also a story. It's a story. Illusions, right? They're illusions. Your loneliness is only there because you choose the loneliness. You choose the disconnection. You choose to be right instead of happy, right? Miser, holding stuff back. We've got a lot of swords in here. You choose to see the other person as your adversary. And one person has to be the winner and one the loser. One has to be right and the other wrong. Why is that? Why do you feel that way? Something to work through, something to think about. If you change your perspective, if you change how you see it, and understand that everybody has their own perspective, you allow yourself the opportunity to let it grow and let it change. Let it change with Wheel of Fortune. Okay? Any further advice for our beautiful collective? Yes. Yes. Okay. So the last card that came out on that is the Master. And in this deck, this is unique to the Osho Zen deck. It is not in a traditional tarot deck. This card talks specifically about mastering your own emotions. So it talks about when you know how to move through your emotions, when you know how to recognize your own triggers, when you learn how to recognize your triggers, when you learn how to see the patterns of indecision, when you learn how to see past all of those things and the stories and the illusions, when you learn how to see past them, you recognize that everything is just an emotional reaction. And it's just an emotion. That emotions don't have to be acted on. They should be acknowledged. They can and should be acknowledged, but they do not have to be acted upon. So when you learn to be the master of your own emotions, nobody can push you around. Nobody can cause you to react. Somebody saying something that is hurtful no longer hurts you because you know your value and your worth. You know that they're saying it strictly because they're trying to hurt you. Not because it's true, but simply because their goal is to cause you suffering. And underneath their goal to cause you suffering is their own suffering. 9 of Swords. As we said before, through their own suffering, they are spreading the pain around because it makes it easier to bear. You don't have to accept it. If someone is insulting you and hurting you, you can choose not to accept that and not respond to it. You can choose to not react. So if somebody is triggering you, the master learns not to be triggered. The master recognizes the goal in what the person is pursuing, but the master does not respond because the master recognizes any response would be ego. It would be from the ego self because the higher self knows what is true. The higher self knows its value and worth. The higher self knows that that person is only spreading pain because they are in pain. The higher self recognizes that. The master is calling you to find your way to your higher self, to be the bigger person, to recognize that one is causing pain simply because one is in pain, not because someone else deserves it. It's not about deserving. It's about everyone is just trying to cope with their difficult mental patterns. Don't allow it to be triggering. Don't allow your relationship to transform by taking responsibility for your section of it. I'm feeling called to pull some cards from the Inner Guide Oracle. So we're going to finish out our reading with a message from the Inner Guides. Ask Your Guides Oracle. My apologies. Ask Your Guides is the name of the deck. Okay. Okay, we got discontent and self-control, which are very fitting. So I'm going to read a message from the guidebook for it because I know generally what they mean, but I want to make sure that any messages are here, that you get the full message that needs to be heard, okay? All right, so our first card being discontent. Dissatisfaction, seeking, searching, conclusions. Yes, that seems quite accurate with our Two of Cups in reverse, our Lovers in reverse. A lot of dissatisfaction. Sooner or later in our evolutionary process, each of us begins to realize that it's not the having that fulfills our soul, but rather it's the act of creating that brings us satisfaction. Contentment in what we've created, no matter how grand, inevitably subsides, and our creative juices once again long to flow. That's why the once ideal partner ceases to mesmerize. The perfect job eventually becomes mundane, and the great adventure becomes tedious. Although there's a lot to be said for enjoying what we have now, we must nevertheless respect the fact that our basic nature as creative beings is to create. Without the process, we can't be fully content, at least not for long. Your muses are present, and they call on you now to embrace your creative discontent and undertake new projects. Their message: see your frustration as a longing to learn more, expand more, dare more, and create more. Which is absolutely beautiful. If we are finding this is absolute truth, I can tell you this with certainty. When we are focusing on our lack, when we are focusing on where we feel our partner is lacking, what we wish we had, when we are in a place of envy and lack, it is usually because we feel stuck and we're trying to control something. We're trying to release something. We're trying to find a way because everything just feels wrong and uncomfortable and too tight. And it causes discontent, as it said. So when you start to feel that way, instead of projecting out onto your partner, instead you're being asked to see that frustration feeling as a longing for something more. And it doesn't have to be in your relationship. It can be more for yourself. Start a book club, be part of a book club, go to meetings for something that you like, a hobby that you like, start a new hobby. Maybe if you've always wanted to be an artist, begin art, watch some YouTube videos and learn how to paint. Allow yourself to dream and allow yourself to try something new. You might find your new favorite thing, but your discontent is not necessarily due to your partner, as we've seen in this, or your other versions of self. It's more because you just feel like there's more to life than what you're getting. And we can fix that by finding more things to explore, by exploring more, creating more, doing more, finding more. Right? What else did it say? Learning more, expanding more. Becoming a more well-rounded person. I would say this is also true. I used to have this when I was a massage therapist. And when I started to find discontent in my career, when I started to feel like everything was the same old, I was fixing the same problems on different people, but it just became monotonous. It was time for me to take a new modality. It was time for me to take a new class and learn something new. And it reinvigorated my career. It reinvigorated my practice. It gave me something new to try and explore with people as a new tool to help them heal. I always knew when I was getting discontent, it was time to learn something new. So it might be the same for you. Let's look into self-control. I just heard the song, I Don't Want to Lose Control in my head. I don't want to lose control. There's nothing left to do anymore. I feel like that might be you. You're having a hard time letting go of control. So let's see what self-control and higher self say. Restraint, detachment, composure, and relaxation. Your higher self is advising you to keep your emotions in check through these times of change and transition. Be on guard as well against being manipulated emotionally by the fear and drama of those around you. Changes in the air and the uncertainty at hand is stirring up a lot of anxiety and insecurity. Recognize the potential stress and choose to brave the volatile storm by remaining cool, calm, and collected. Whatever you do, don't allow yourself to succumb to the seductive and addictive appeal of high drama as a way to expending the excess adrenaline coursing through your veins. Go for a run or work out at the gym. Use your anxiety physically rather than emotionally, and protect yourself against the fear-provoking actions of others. Yes, it's difficult to face the unknown, but your higher self calmly assures you that no matter what challenges you encounter, you can handle everything beautifully if you remain detached, relaxed, and grounded. Your higher self's message, stay cool, which is the same thing that we got with the master of mastering your emotions. Like I said, if in the turbulence of your relationship, the discontent, the imbalance, the sorrow, the lack, the indecision, the old thought patterns, if in that your partner throws a jab at you, you don't have to respond. You don't have to take it. If you stay centered and calm, you won't get caught up in it. Mob mentality is a thing because everybody gets swept away with the emotions of the others. It starts with one person, and it usually starts with fear. And that fear pushes them to act as a way of self-preservation. And that fear is catchy. And others catch it, and then they act as one to eliminate the threat so that they can find calm again. Not understanding that that can be found within 10101 on the clock, 010101. So staying in your center, staying controlled, staying calm will help you when everything is out of whack, when your partner is losing their cool, when your child is losing their cool, when those around you are losing their cool, whether through anger, frustration, fear, whatever it is. When they are losing their control, you don't have to join the fray, right? You can choose, as in discontent, you could choose to do something different. You can choose to stay in your center. And when you do, and you master your emotions, you'll be surprised what opens up when someone feels like they can speak without being interrupted, when they can speak and share and maybe even be heard and have their needs and their voice be heard instead of spoken over and shouted down like you might if you get caught up in the fear and anger. So I hope this was a helpful message for whoever tuned in and needed to hear it. We covered a lot of ground in our last hour, but hopefully this is the message that you needed to hear. So until next time, keep letting go of the things that are holding you back from being your best, your greatest, your most authentic self. Until next time, love and light, fellow humans.